Hey guys, welcome to the daily analysis and happy Monday as we enter another week of trading, which I'm always excited about and I hope you're excited about as well. Definitely a few things that I want to talk to you about today in the market. It was a quieter day, but still, again, I think that there are some things setting up and definitely some potential that I'm seeing already from this week and what we have going on. So I'm going to cover all those things and get into some potential trade setups throughout the week as soon as we go through our news, cover our terms, and then we'll jump right back into these charts. So today was a pretty quiet day in the market in terms of news, and tomorrow is the same. The one red tagged announcement you see there is pound at 5:30 a.m. And we're going to talk about pound today and some of the potential there. So that will be an important announcement. But other than that, pretty quiet day. You can see some orange tag stuff, coming throughout the day, a lot in the afternoon. But overall, a pretty quiet day, and so could expect some slower movement and perhaps some good continuation without the interruption of news based on what's already going on in the market. So I always say that I think that the fundamental stuff oftentimes does confirm technical setups. But without the fundamental stuff, then technical setups have an even higher percentage chance of working out. And so when we talk about some of those technical things today, maybe a higher expectation of those following through tomorrow. Alright guys, and then just to quickly cover our terms, basically what we're trying to tell you here is that the daily analysis is for educational purposes only. Due to government regulations that are in place, we are not prohibited to give you investment advice, and so we do want to stay clear of that and let you know that we're not giving you investment advice, we're not telling you what to do with your money, just giving you our opinion of the market, and what you do with your money is still completely up to you. Alright, so please do understand that, and if you need to, pause the video, read through the terms, and take your time to do that. I'm going to go ahead and move back into our charts. And so the euro dollar moved pretty slowly up today, gradual movement up back into the 130 area. You can see that the euro dollar consolidating again at this area, which is not a surprise because it is a major zone. We've seen past consolidation in this area before, and so again, not really surprised. What I'm expecting here is an eventual break either to this level, which is the next zone that I've highlighted in the market, or a break up to this zone, which is the next zone that I've highlighted to the upside. So, of course, anyone can tell you that it's going to either go up or down, but I do think that having these areas highlighted and knowing where they're at is going to be the key to having a profitable trade no matter which direction it goes. Right now, we've seen a lot of bearish momentum pushing down, so my sentiment right now still is definitely to the downside. Some slowdown and consolidation here, not a surprise after a big move. And so just one last retest here could definitely mean a test and a continuation back to the downside after the test of 130. And so that's kind of what I'm anticipating. Not set on that trade by any stretch, but definitely think that that's the highest probability at this point, knowing what we know now and having the information that we have right now. And so again, looking at the bottom of the zone, perhaps waiting for something to set up in here, maybe a tail bar showing continuation, or just a lower time frame move, whether that's tomorrow or even takes a few days to develop. I think that there's potential there either way. And so again, looking at the zones here, this one to the upside and then this one to the downside, decent amount of pips in both directions, depending on if you get a lower time frame entry with a little bit tighter stop. Of course, you don't want to use a big stop that's all the way above the zone here, or else you'll be at a less than 1-to-1 by the time you get the entry potential. But I'm assuming that you get the continuation. We're zooming into a lower time frame here to take a tighter stop, and the profit potential certainly works out. Alright, so that's the euro dollar again. Sorry to take a lot of time there just going over those zones, but I think that's important as the element to success, regardless of the direction that the euro dollar ends up moving here. Alright guys, next we have the pound dollar, which of course is our free falling pair here on the daily chart. You can see the straight down movement, or at least very steep movement. I drew in a line here that I didn't have before around 148.80. Which is a support level that I found on the weekly chart. It's not a major level, nothing really compared to the three levels we see here that are actually stacked with support resistance, but it is a little bit of a level, and it happens to be where the pound is stalling right now. Right now I'm not buying into this as a potential area for bouncing because we've seen some stalling here and here, and here that did not result in anything. The momentum, of course, is still very much to the downside. However, if we see a little bit of continuation of bouncing to the upside, this could be an actual area that produces that. So not sold on it yet, but I definitely think that if I get continuation, I'll still be a buyer looking just for a retest here, and then a seller as soon as it gets back up here. So that's kind of my game plan still. It's same game plan I had when I was looking to buy here and here, trying to get it to move into this zone, because we still never got a really good retest, an immediate retest here, but not a retest once we got a little bit lower, which typically I anticipate on a major daily and weekly break. So I'm still thinking that way. My mindset has not changed on that, but I'm not going to force the issue unless we get some nice momentum moving up back through the 150 level. And then I'll look to be a buyer again. So that's my thoughts on the pound dollar. Still very bearish and not buying into anything yet, but still looking. Right now we kind of have this steep falling wedge within the downward move. You can see kind of forming here. Not even a wedge, just a channel that's separating a little bit, I guess is a more accurate way to define it. So still looking at that, still thinking that we could get a retest, but overall, of course, very bearish on this pound. When you look at the weekly and the monthly, it's hard not to be. As a matter of fact, if you check out the monthly, you can see that it kind of broke through a wedge pattern on the monthly and is looking for continuation to much lower prices. The potential for the pound to move down is just very huge, hundreds and even thousands of pips, really. So take a look at that monthly chart if you get a chance on the pound. All right, AUDUS gapping down and finding the support zone around 102 and bouncing nicely again today. So this bottom support zone continues to remain intact despite the steep moves down and the continual pin bars that you see trying to push price down. We still have a lot of support here and continuing to hold price above it. So have not been able to break up above this area here, which I think is kind of the critical area, before thinking that it's going to move up to our long-term trend line here. Certainly think that's a possibility. However, right now it's just chopping and could still easily push right back down into the zone. So odd dollar, a good strong bounce today, but for me, I'm looking at the break of 102.95 area. 102.95. If it breaks bullishly above that, then I'll think that we have some long upside potential to the 105 / the trend line area, whatever comes first. Think that has some potential there. Okay, so that's AUDUS, bullish today, but could be bearish tomorrow based on the channeling that we're seeing now. All right, next I have the euro pound, which did make a nice move over the past few days. You can see here, looking like it does want to break out to the upside. In my opinion, still not a full breakout. I'd want to see it close probably above here, so I could move my channel up to include that area. Just to cover the close. If it closes there, though, of course the issue is that, okay, we finally get it close here, and then we're thinking, oh, what about this wick where it stopped? And so we have to think about that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and say that I want it to close above that too, because I'm not going to take the trade when it has a few pips before that point too. So really that's what I'm picking as my high. I know that it's a little frustrating to think that I'm close to a breakout but then not really there. But that, well, let me redraw that. That is really what I'm looking at. 88.15 area. If it breaks above that, I'm definitely considering long potential, making new highs. This is just a consolidation period and resting before making its next move. All that I think is very possible, and it's just a matter of time to see if we can get the momentum, the continuation to the upside on the euro pound. Euro strength not big right now, but of course pound more weak and more pathetic certainly. As we showed that drop on the pound. So euro pound has the potential, maybe getting close to getting out of that desert, but right now we are still there and still waiting, in my personal opinion. Alright guys, next we have the USDCAD, which as we've noted is still in this 103, a little bit below 103. The trend line comes and price, a little bit above 103 is our trend line, a little bit below 103 is current price. So reversal potential is still there. This is definitely the level I think is still a target area if we get the reversal, but it has not shown enough momentum to break through this area. And so that's still really what I'm sticking to. If it shows momentum, breaks that level, again, maybe a break, a retest, and then a continuation, that to me is a great trade setup. And the target being here at 101 is a big bonus to a trade opportunity like this, because as I always say, when you're taking a trade in a certain direction, what you want to have is a really obvious target that's going to pull price into it, where you feel confident that price is heading. And this is definitely a trade opportunity where there's an obvious level that could pull price into it. And so shorting the USD CAD is very much a good possibility in my opinion, just waiting for the momentum to appear, and if it breaks that level, again, maybe a break and a retest before the continuation, but still a great opportunity. And so I think that that is one that's definitely worth watching, and hopefully we're pretty close on that. Just a matter of time before it either breaks that area or moves higher. Me personally, I'm hoping that it breaks lower and gives me that trade opportunity, but I'm not going to be set on that until the price actually does what it's going to do. So one of the things that I think that can really get you into trouble is really being set on a certain trade. I'm going to short the pound, or I'm going to short the USDCAD, or whatever it's going to be, and then you have these ideas in your head of, oh, I'm going to wait for it to break this, but then it's taking forever and it doesn't break, and they say, okay, I'm just going to short now, or I'm just going to buy now, and it ends up being a bad trade because you weren't you were too set on the trade itself rather than using some objective principles to clarify what your entry ought to be. And so here we have a kind of an obvious clarification of entry that would be showing momentum through this base, and an obvious target, and just a trade opportunity that's worth waiting on. Alright, and I will leave you with that. I think that's a good trade opportunity, good thing to leave on, and I hope that you guys found the analysis helpful. If you did, I really do appreciate sharing it on Facebook and tweeting it with Twitter. Those things help us get the analysis out to more people, and so that is greatly appreciated. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave a comment below the video. Alright guys, talk to you tomorrow.